my car behind me, although I wish it was, and it kind of just ruined my life today. But this is my friend Scotty's car, and he's here to have me do a rear wing addition to the car. I've never done this, but I've researched it, and it looks like it's going to be easy and fun. Famous last words: don't ever say plug and play or 15-minute job. It will bite you in the butt every single time. The sooner you come to terms with that, your life will be a lot easier. Now, this RW Carbon wing, the way they packaged everything was insatiable. Not a dent, a ding, a scratch, a fine line, nothing. A beautiful product, and definitely worth the $2,700 that it cost. Removing the panel is as simple as pulling out these little plastic rivets with my little plastic pry tool. And once those are out and the panel is removed, you're just going to get a 6mm socket and remove all of, I think it's like 13 or 14 6mm bolts that are holding the retractable wing to the car. Make sure that you don't drop any of those down this Bermuda Triangle of a trunk lid, and you'll be happy. I've never met a clip that I didn't break, and today was no exception. But if nobody saw it, is it really broken? Besides the bolts, there are these drain tubes on the left and right side that you have to unplug. Make sure to plug those up with something just in case you don't want water coming through in or out of them. So we gotta pull those off gently, and once those are loose, you should be able to, well, unclip the wing, obviously, and then you can be able to lift it up and out of the car. Now, with the area all ready for the install, make sure to clean everything. You want the weather stripping to make really good contact with the base of the trunk. The weather stripping that came with the kit is amazing. Some of the best quality weather stripping I've ever seen. Great stickiness to it, and there's a little groove, which you can see here on the bottom of the wing, that allows you a template to lay down the weather stripping. When I joined the ends at the very end, which I decided to make towards the back of the wing, I decided to add a little bit of my secret sauce, which is my weather stripping glue, just to make sure that that seal was completely sealed and have peace of mind. I would do it for my car, so I'll do it for my buddy's car. Before permanently fixing the wing to the car, you want to do a temporary fix. So get it situated, tighten everything down, snug it all up, and then spray some water, splash some water on it. Make sure that no water is getting in there and that the weather stripping is doing its part. We did this, there was no water, so we're moving on to the next portion, which will be adding that brake light in and wiring everything up. There was no hole for the brake line wiring to come through where it needed to come through on the spoiler and get to where it needs to get on the trunk. So holes did have to go into it. I gave my buddy Scott a few options. We could have drilled into the car, we could have drilled into the spoiler. I suggested the spoiler because I don't want to drill into his car. But this was very tricky, just fishing the wires through. That was probably the hardest part of the entire install, was this fishing of the wires. Okay, so here's the predicament. It's coming from here, It needs to either run inside to come out here in order to come out through here, or an access hole needs to be cut in the body. So we'll see what we're gonna do. So all of the internal components, like let's say that this is the bottom of the wing, all of the components go through this bottom area of the wing into the area of the trunk. And there's this outer area. You'll see it in this video here. Now, the brake light wire needs to go from the brake light area, which is mounted on the upper portion of the wing, wire to the right where the hole is, down one of the towers, and then back down through the flat part of the wing to go down through where it can meet up with the connectors in the trunk. Wow. I mean, that's a lot of like wire fishing around, and unfortunately the carbon fiber wing had no holes for the wire to escape, which was really strange because the wiring kit came with a grommet, but there was no hole to put the grommet in. I don't know. I couldn't find any YouTube videos or anything. There were great tutorials on how to install the wing, but it was with the non-brake light wing. So this wing was for the convertible, which had that extra brake light on the top. Couldn't find a single video, forum, or anything that talked about the proper way to route the wires, so I just kind of used some common sense. And of course I asked my buddy, where do you want the hole? Because we had a couple options. One hole ended up being 3 holes, but at the end of the day everything's sealed up, and you know, it's fine. Nobody knows. Nobody knows but you and me. Before I go routing all the wires through this wing, I'm going to make sure that the brake light fits properly. It fits fine. It's not this tight, perfect fit, but it fits good enough to move forward. The main hole, this is where I wanted the hole to be, was right in the center. It looked like a logical place for the hole to be. I was terrified drilling into this carbon fiber that, you know, my super strength would all of a sudden push the drill through the other side, and I would have to reimburse my buddy $2,700 for this carbon fiber wing. Especially when I had to bring out the Big Daddy drill to get the hole big enough to put the connector through. So this first hole, it failed me because the wire wasn't long enough to successfully be looped through there, all the way to the right, down, and through the bottom again. So this hole was a fail. It's one of those JK holes. So another hole had to be drilled closer to where the wire was going to come through. One more hole, and from that hole it has to connect down into that tower, which is basically the gateway or the tunnel for the wire to get through to where the brake light is. So I have to fish this through and somehow reach inside to pull it out the other side. Turns out there's a dividing wall inside that doesn't allow you to freely grab the wire. Even my trusty little pumpkin carving sticking tool didn't work. So, alas, another hole had to be drilled. There was no way around it. If anybody's done this without drilling holes, I want to hear from you. So, this has to be fished through from... Okay.
Okay, you made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, the hard part is going to be...
Just going to be getting this in there.
Yeah, so I think what we should do is...
Should maybe put it on its...
Let's see here. Is this even big enough? I have to make this hole a little bit bigger. It's just...
Yeah, I almost just sit here with tweezers and then pull it.
Yeah.
If like we kind of angle it this way.
And this is where the fun stuff begins. So, having to poke this wire through these holes, I attached a stronger wire to the wires to kind of help guide it a little bit, And then I told my buddy, be on the lookout, here's some needle nose pliers, let's play a game, try to grab the wire. But I'm such a terrible team player, I couldn't even like let him do that. Immediately I'm like trying to put my finger in the hole and grab the wire. I have a real problem when it comes to teamwork. So I ended up getting that little wire all the way through and being able to connect it to where it needed to be connected. I used my little pokey device, and I even used my go-to pumpkin carving stick device, and that helped too. I mean, however it gets done at that point. I would have used my tongue if it made the process easier. What did kind of make me sad was the brackets, or the these metal prongs that were on the brake light were so cheap and flimsy that it didn't hold the brake light into place very well. So I had to open them up super wide to get them to really grab onto the wing. So with the brake light all wired up, we're ready to install it and tighten everything up. When you're torquing down stuff with carbon fiber, it's really best to go nice and slow, because you don't want to strip or pull anything or break anything on the carbon fiber. It's definitely like an ugga-dugga type of measurement. Ugga-dugga, pray for no cracking sounds. And make sure to plug in all the wires, of course, and test the brake light. Oh my god! Quick reminder, there's the before, so clean and boring, blah, 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 blah. And the after. So that does it. I sealed it up, watched the car drive away. I felt super proud of my work. I think it looks fantastic. Tell me if you guys liked it with the wing or without the wing. I like it with the wing. A lot of people don't like the look of a wing and like that clean, retractable spoiler look, but I'm a little bit on the wild side, and I like things to like really pop and stand out. So next week we're either gonna be working on Mustang stuff or Bentley stuff. I'm not quite sure because I'm waiting for some parts, but I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I treated myself to something that I've been wanting for so long. It's a digital torque wrench. So, contrary to popular belief, I do torque everything down. I don't usually torque my wheels down because I take them off so frequently. I mean, I guess if I wasn't gonna work on them for a while, I would torque them down. But so this is right now what I use as a torque wrench. Alright, everybody knows this is like one of those clickety-dickety ones. So you set it, and then as you're torquing it, it will go click, make this super satisfying click when you've torqued it to spec. So this is one that I use most frequently. And then this is one that I use when basically I feel like I've torqued it and it's not clicking and I'm scared that something's wrong with this. I have trust issues. So sometimes I'll bring this one out. This one has been in my family for like probably 80 years. It was my grandfather's, it was my dad's, and now it's mine. This is one of those old school, basically as you torque it, this dial moves. And you can see in action like how close you are to hitting your torque spec. So I'll bring this one out once in a while. But this is what I just got. finally splurged. So we'll see how this one works. I haven't used it yet, but this is a digital version, so you just type in the number that you want to hit and it's gonna beep when you hit the torque spec. We'll see how it goes. It wasn't cheap and it wasn't like $1 million. It was like $100 on Amazon. It feels really good. Comes in a nice little case, came with batteries. So we'll see. Can't wait to use it. But it's very heavy too. Yeah, I feel like it's still, I feel like I could still get a cheater bar on the end of this if I need to. No cheater bar, but that's okay.